Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426 and today we have the review of the G-Frame Gym Quel. Now once again it is good to be back, but once again it's also sad to say that I'm still busy because of work. Now I've been absent for about 2 to 3 weeks. I really apologize for this. It's not that I don't have anything to review, it's just that my current job is just requiring me to go to all these like outdoor events and help them out, and all these events are always either taking on weekends, hence I just don't have any time to make any videos. I really apologize that, and I think this might actually happen for the next 2 weeks maybe. So once again I'm sorry, but once again I'll try to prepare anything I can. Alright, so the G-Frame line. So I have reviewed this a few times, and once again the way how this works is pretty simple, and once again I don't want any people to get the wrong idea or make any mistakes. G-frames are always composed of 2 boxes for each mobile suit. So yeah, they will have a 2-box version. So one box will have a statue frame, meaning that there is no articulation in this frame, and will have all the necessary parts to complete the mobile suit. So the outer parts to make it look like the Gym Quel will be in this box, and there will be another box that is meant for this, which will have a fully articulated frame with all its equipment. Now another interesting thing about this Gym Quel is that from the G-Frame line is that it also comes with the Hazel head, which I was not aware until I actually got this. So once again, if you want to have a fully articulated, small, figurine, you need to get both boxes. But if you're fine with just having a static frame with a non-articulated statue-like figure, then you can go with this. But keep in mind, this will not come with any equipment or weapons. So make sure, if you want to have the full experience, make sure to get both of the boxes. Now before we go in terms of opening the boxes and seeing its components, each on the back will show you what you're supposed to be getting here as well. And then on the side, I believe should show in what other mobile suits that there are in this series. So as far as I can tell, there's the God Gundam, or I believe some in other countries call it Burning Gundam. And then we have the Gundam Ariel. And then other than the Gym Quel, there seems to be a Hakushiki, which actually I might need that. Alright, so once again, I'll be right back from opening the boxes and showing you guys the components of each boxes. So I'll be right back with my scissors or knife. Okay, I'm back. So here we opened both boxes, took out all the plastic bags, and then assembled partially for the left box, and then we prepared everything that we could on the right box. So let's see what we get on the left one, which only contains the statue frame and then all the necessary armor parts to finish or to make it look like the Gym Quel. So for now, let's see what we got. So once again, there were actually a good amount of parts that were already assembled, like the legs and the arms and the body. But once again, I wanted to show you guys how it looks like on the inside. So this is how it looks like on the inside. You can see there's no bending points. There's only maybe this movement for the arms. You can see there's no bend point even on the arms. The only part you can move is using the ball joints on the hand. So yeah, and the head, actually, despite being a painted part, looks pretty. The part looks actually pretty good on with the visor. It actually looks like a visor as well. So yeah, and you can see even the sides are in a very specific angle, so you don't have any control on how to rotate it and such. So yeah, so this is how it works, and here are all the other necessary parts on to finish the statue figure. And once again, sometimes they'll include these gum. So once again, unless you get the latest stuff that just released maybe in a month or two, yeah, I mean, I guess it would be safe to chew on these, but once again, I just highly recommend that you don't chew on these, because you never know when they were made, or, just to avoid food poisoning or something else. Alright, and finally, this is something I don't think I've ever seen before in the past, but once again, there is this thing, which according to, once you can actually scan these QR codes on the box, and it will lead you to an instruction manual for each, for the entire series, so you can check that. And apparently this thing, you could use this as a stand using the statue frame over there, which is a little bit odd, but I will get into that later. Alright, now onto the right box. You can see it definitely has less parts, but it has one important thing here, which is the frame. Now this one you need to fully assemble. The only part that's assembled is the main body and the waist. The arms and legs you have to assemble yourself. Once again, you can scan the QR code and follow the instruction manuals. Make sure you're looking at the right one, because it will show all the other units as well, like the Burning Gundam, the Hakushiki, Gundam Ariel. So make sure you're looking at the right one. So yeah, you can see this one is actually fully articulated, so it can move up, down, full bend, even ball joint to hand, same deal. Fully free moving, like articulated frame going on here. Very, very well made. And then all the other necessary stuff, shield, you have the machine gun rifle, and then once again, not the best, but you do get a beam saber as well. And then you do get, well, I am using the default multi-purpose hand. This one does give you an extra set of hands where the ball joint is popping to the side, where I believe this is meant for specific rifles like this one as a good example. So yeah. Alright, so the way how this works is that usually once you're done with this part, you now take out all the arm parts and now slap it onto this one to get the full experience. So I'll be right back to do that. Okay, I'm back. So here we have the Jim Quel fully assembled with the articulated frame. So I think we'll go over overall the looks and then articulation, and then we'll look at the equipment. But once again, after I reviewed some G-frames and I was talking about this unit with some other friends, they always wanted to ask me, how's the size? How is it compared to a typical 1-to-144 scale HG kit? Now, since this is a from the Universal Sentry, I think it would be fair to compare with another Universal Sentry mobile suit here as well. So here is a typical 1-to-144 scale kit. So once again, you can see there is a size difference. It's not the same size wherever. You can see the G-frame is much smaller compared to the HG kit here. So once again, keep in mind, this even the G-frame set does not mention what scale it is, so it is up to it's your job to calculate it. So some people really don't care about scale when it comes to these stuff, depending on the people. Once again, not everything that's Gunpla or not everything that's from Bandai or Gundam related always has a scale, like Converge figures or the ensemble figures. Heck, even Robot Damacy figures don't really mention their scale, so keep that in mind. Alright, so you can see when you compare it by side, the kit comes roughly about to the if you consider the head unit, it comes right about the chest / neck area. So you can see it's like maybe a head smaller ish going on here. So keep that in mind. So once again, I guess if you bought a 144 kill HG kit and you saw it was maybe you wanted something smaller but not as small like an SD kit, I think this might be a good alternative. And these being a more figure-esque like thing, these will have less fragile parts. So really depends on your preference. All right, let's see what we got. So like I said, we saw the visor going on here. It's not a clear piece, it's colored in metallic orange, and I think they did a pretty good job. Granted, there is a little bit extra bleeding going on here, so might need to clean that out. And keep in mind, the reason why I do suggest that you maybe disassemble the entire arm parts before you apply it onto the articulated armor is because, well, that's convenient. And number two is that there are some, now most of these parts comes in like pre-built, so some of these will have like these nut marks. So if you want to like erase those, I do suggest you do that right now. Alright, so let's look at the articulation here. So the head can go up and down. That's pretty good. And then you can see there it is a ball jointed connection, but there is also another separate neck joint, so you do have extra movement going on here. And then 360 twist is possible because of the structure. And once again, the antenna is very thick, so I have less worries about like breaking this as well. It feels less fragile. Now looking at the backpack, you can see it's your typical Jim Quel backpack, but once again it is lacking some extra colors and details, but oh well. And then the beam saber does not pop out, which does bring out a slight problem, because they do include a beam saber shape stick. But once again, since you can't pull that out, and then the handle is also squarish, where this part is rounded, so you're gonna definitely break that illusion. Now, I did try to slap on a typical HG beam saber hilt, and once again, the round beam saber hilts seem to not fit properly, so you might want to find a squarish and maybe flat version. Then that might just work. But once again, that's just a guess. Alright, so we've seen the beta, and now let's get the main body. You can see the body has a nice ab crunch going on here, side to side slight movement, 360 twist is possible on the top, so pretty well done. And then looking at the front, the yellow and the cockpit section, I think they did a pretty good job. The only part that would be lacking would be that the lack of a camera green color onto the chest, like the head they did here. Now the arms, the shoulder armor is a separate piece. It's not connected to the arm directly. It's like it's clicked into the middle part of the joint here, so it will move on its own. But once again, considering that, you still get a very nice 360 twist going to the side 90 degrees or slightly more if you can pull it up, and then you get a nice bend going on here, very nice bend. And you do get a nice rotation here. Granted, this may actually lodge out the shoulder armor depending on how you do it, but once again, it is there, and then you do get a ball jointed hand. Now, I did actually test this out. You can actually fit a 1-to-1 44 scale HG kit hand into that part, but once again, because of the overall size here, the hand may seem a little bit bigger for this guy, or for the G-frame in general. Now, looking at the waist section, everything looks pretty good on the front, but once again, the yellow V part is missing its color, so you might want to color that if you can. The side skirts do move upwards. The front skirt moves upwards. Side skirt does go up. Back skirt does not, because this thing is an entire single piece as well. And then once again, you do get from here, compared to the statue frame, you do get a nice size swivel going on here. You do have some control, and the main connection here is a ball joint, so keep that in mind. Now, sometimes this may feel extremely stiff, so do be careful. If you think it's too stiff to the point of breakage, do apply some oil or maybe sand it down. So going upwards is possible. Bend wise, very nice bend, and then going to the side should be possible without no issues. So very well done. And then it even has the leg cameras here as well, so pretty well done. And the feet are your ball jointed feet, so pretty well articulated. You do get a nice pivot joint. Oh boy, give me a moment. Yeah. All right. So before we go into with the other equipment here, what do you do with the statue frame? According to the manual, now I'm not sure if this was also done. It was possible in the previous ones that I reviewed some time ago. You could actually reassemble them to make it look like this, an actual action base. Yes, this was actually in the manual, and once again, G-frames do have a action base port there, and there you go. Now, I'm gonna be honest, while this may be good news to some people, but I think I'm just gonna use a typical a different action base, because this thing does not look good at all. Alright, so once again, I'll be right back with the equipment, and we'll end it off there. Okay, so here we have the first demonstration, and I think I'm pretty much going to be using it in this kind of setup where I have the shield, the machine gun, and the Quel head. Now, for the machine gun, you cannot use the straight line peg hand here, because there is not enough clearance for the handle to fully go in, and then because once again, because it's a bullpup machine gun, the magazine is on the back side, so you need to be in a curved angle, but this does not give the enough angle so that it can go in there. So you have to use the peg hand that has the curved peg here. So that's what I'm using on the right hand at the moment, and it works pretty well. And the gun detail looks pretty good, actually. Yeah, it has all the necessary details. If you want to color it more or give it more detail, that is up to you. Now, the shield, the way how this works is that you do get a shield connector for the arm. It actually clicks or clips onto the arm itself, and then you have two options, whether to put the shield on the bottom or onto the side. And the shield is pretty well detailed. Actually, this might be a little bit more detailed compared to the HG version. Of course, it's much smaller because of the size, but oh well. And then you can just plug it in, and because it is on a peg, you do have a little bit of rotation going on here. And yeah, really well done. I'm really glad I actually got this. So once again, at first I did have some own doubts on the G-frame units, but once again, the more I didn't expect them to go like even more and then release more units, like up to like mass production mobile suits. So I'm actually opening up more and more to the G-frame units as well. So really happy. And if you saw some of my posts, I actually have 3 more on standby for review. So yeah, you can look for that as well. Now, there's only one thing left to show, and that is the Hazel head. So let's just pop the head out, and that was pretty easy than I thought. And now, let's look at the head. Now, here we have the Hazel head. Yeah, once again, it's a more Gundam-esque like head, but once again, I believe, now, once again, my knowledge for the AOZ series, Advance of Zeta series, I'm not too high, because once again, it is a really vague series when you think about it. Once again, I think they did a pretty good job. Definitely has that Mark II-esque like head design going on here. The eyes, I think they did a pretty good job, because when it comes to figures, it is very tricky for like paint to like the eye areas where paints are very tricky to make it look clean, but I think they did a pretty good job on the head. But once again, now when you say the word Hazel, some people will have definitely the different idea or which version of the Hazel to pop up in their head. But once again, I believe there are some other Hazel units for the G-frame, but I have zero interest in getting those as well. So it's really up to your preference at this point. But once again, for now, I think I am going to mostly display this with the Jim Quel head because I am a more Jim fanatic. Anyway, that was pretty much it for the review. This was the review of the G-frame Jim Quel. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. Once again, I apologize for all these late delays in videos. It's just that my work, my job is just requiring me to work on weekends a lot. So I do apologize for that aspect. Anyway, until then, see you guys next time.